Hello my lovelies, and welcome back, and if you're new, it's lovely to have your company. Well, today is finally confession time, because the prompt this time is least favourite ephemera and bookbinders art. So this is the point at which I am going to be vilified by the whole of the junk journal community, because my least favourite ephemera is something that is really popular with just about everybody else. So here we go. My least favourite ephemera is paper dolls. And even worse than paper dolls are paper dolls with wings. So there we are. I have now confessed, and we'll have a look at the page that I'm hoping to use. And this is the original page from the Chambers Journal, published in the early 1900s. So it is already sort of old looking, but I just distressed it a little bit there, as you can see. And then at the top of the page, the reason I don't like this, at the top of the page it's talking about wearing a truss. And then here we have got, are you weak, anemic, nervy and run down? So we don't really want to be reminded of illness every time we open a journal, do we? And here they're also advertising antiseptic mouth and throat baths. It's sort of giving your throat a bath. Oh well. And then down here we've got nervous dyspepsia. And then we have finally got the friend of the housewife. Keating's kills every beetle. Coming into proper contact with it. Tins are a penny, threepence, sixpence and 1 shilling. And the picture of the beetle, he looks positively demonic. I don't know if you can see that. So all in all, I really would like to try to change that page slightly. So I shall now whisk this away and come back with the finished result in a minute. Hello, well I'm back, and something very strange has happened. I've been converted. Well, almost. So this is what I've produced. Allow me to introduce Montmorency Bertram Fortescue. And I think once I started developing the page and the character that I'd chosen and I'd named him, I suddenly became much more invested in the page. And I honestly am converted to paper dolls, because I really enjoyed working with him and working with the page. So what I actually did, I got another piece of the Chambers Journal paper, which then covered up a huge part of that page that I didn't like, and made a tuck spot, and used this other page, and behind him, as you can see, it says Harris Tweeds. So I cut a little bit. I didn't have any Harris Tweed, so I cut out a little bit of material and sort of made it a tweedy colour as best I could, and I put Montmorency Bertram Fortescue sitting on a wall, and that was obviously, that's raised up the wall with texture paste, a bit like I did with the Cottage in the Woods for the ordered playing card. And I put some moss on the wall, as you can see, and then you could just see a little bit of the advert underneath that was talking about anemia, and I thought, no, we have to cover that up. So this was advertising some cigarettes, which in the sort of era of Montmorency, quite likely he did smoke. So then I had to face my real dislike, which is paper dolls with wings. And there, I think, although definitely I'll use paper dolls again, I'm still not sure about the wings. Okay, you want to see? All right, there's a story to this one too. Here we are. Here he is with wings. So there's a story to this one, and again, it was exactly the same as when I was working over here with Montmorency. Basically, I knew the background that I wanted to use, and so I created that digitally. I use my little pointy stick thing because then my hands don't get in the way and you can see the actual pictures. But I wanted to create a sort of very run down sort of slum area, and so I created all the background digitally, and then just on that little bit of corrugated iron there, I wanted to just have a tiny little pop of colour, and I think that somehow just brings it to light, and I used shabby shutters on that little portion of it. And this is when another interesting thing started to happen. So I think from this you can probably see that when we start on a page, you don't have to know exactly how the page is going to finish or end up, but just start on it and see where it takes you. And often it will take you on a very interesting journey and start to tell you its own story. Because with this page, I really wanted to somehow down here to pick up the shabby shutters colour. So I had to look through various other small bits of ephemera, and the first thing I came up with was these two stamps here. Now these are original and genuine penny red stamps, and they were in use from really around 1865, these particular stamps, to 1875. So I'm using 160-year-old stamps on that card, but it sort of goes with the general ethos of the rest of the page. Now when I was choosing colours, I wanted something to sort of reflect this sort of shabby shuttery green, and so I found this, and I suddenly saw on it that it says, I don't know if I can lift it up, you might be able to read it a bit better. Is that coming out in the camera? It says public school. So I thought, and I'd already chosen the boy, and I thought, yes, he does look very public school, doesn't he? Sort of quite upper crust, as we would say here in the UK. I don't know if you use that term over the pond, but here we would say he's very sort of hoity-toity and upper crust. So how did he come to find himself in a slum? Well, bearing in mind that I had already chosen these other little pieces to go, really I was choosing them for the colour. So here we have a public school boy who's 13 years old, and there's a bus ticket. And so what happened? After he left school, he was given a letter to post, which he forgot. He was also daydreaming on the bus, which meant that he got off at the wrong bus stop and ended up in this slum area, which is completely incongruous to everything he is. And he hears a clock strike, and it's striking 5 o'clock, and 5 o'clock is tea time, and he knows he's going to be in real trouble. He hasn't posted the letter, he got off at the wrong stop, he doesn't know where he is, and it's going to take a long time to get home. So what does he do? He sprouts wings, and so he can fly home, be home in time for tea. Don't mention the letter he forgot to post, he'll post that tomorrow. And so that is the story of this card here. So I confess I am converted to paper dolls. I really am. I love them. Take the wings off him and I'd be a lot happier. But I have to say a very big thank you to Luise and Barbara. Not that they'll probably ever see this video, but to challenge me with my least favourite ephemera, because without that I absolutely would not have known that I quite like paper dolls. So there we are. So that was that page. Oh, and I've just remembered before I put this section away that it was also bookbinder's art, and I wasn't too sure how to interpret that, so I sort of split it. So for the bookbinders bit, I felt that was very much sort of something a bookbinder might use, and that's the Tim Holtz fabric sticky tape. And then for the art part, I was sort of thinking about how the monks used to write these beautiful illuminated manuscripts. And so then that's what gave me the idea to put this little bit here with a monogram for Montmorency, Bertram Fortescue. And so I forgot to explain that a little bit. So let's put that to one side and pop him back in there. And it's another 2 for the price of 1 day. So my other page I've got here is bookmark and black and white. So this is what I did for this page. So as you can see, it's black and white. And really, the idea behind this page was duality, night and day, black and white, light and dark. And here we've got the black page, which I painted that black and then put white text stamping on it. This one I used white gesso and put black ink on it, stamping. And this page, again, has got a little bit of digital design in it, because I thought if you've got a bookmark, you need a book. So I created 2 books. There's the black book with the white castle on it, and a white book with a black castle on it. And so obviously they go on the opposite pages. And I particularly liked the owl. I wanted a very sort of stylized owl. So if I lift him up, maybe you can see a bit better. Is that in focus? I think, there you go. So I was really pleased with the owl. And a bit like with the last page, this is just all black and white, but we've got the tiniest bit of colour on the beaks of the 2 owls. And that is exactly the same as that, but it doesn't show up quite so well because it's in black. And then I just made 2 bookmarks which are very similar to each other, so we'll take those out. But again, I used black flowers on a white background, and for this one I used white flowers on a black background. And then they've got tassels which I just made with some embroidery silks, and that's got a black tassel on that one. And then they've each got a quote, and on this one, a book is a world in black and white where the pages turn to colour in the mind, which is very true. Well, it is for me, that if I'm reading a book, and with Christmas coming up, I've got a big pile of library books to see me through Christmas. I don't know about you, but when I'm reading a story, I see it in full colour, and it's just like watching a film. And so on this one we had a book is a canvas of black, white and black, where words create a world of colour. So that concludes my other page. So if I had a pen, which I don't, so we have to imagine this bit. You can never find a pen when you want one, can you? So there we are, we've done least favourite ephemera and bookbinder's art, and bookmark and black and white. And next time we've got the tuck spot and cheese. Now that's going to be an interesting one, because first of all we're going to have to go and get the cheese. So that will be a slightly different video to my normal videos. It's got a little bit of something extra added, which I will upload for you over the Christmas period, and I very much look forward to seeing you then. So once again, happy Dephemerember, and the usual, if you could just give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed watching this, please. YouTube algorithm, it just goes by the number of likes, and then it just means that a few more people who actually would like to see junk journaling and maybe people who've never made a junk journal, it might encourage them to want to join us all. We're quite mad, most of us. We're quite weird, but very friendly. So hope to see you all again soon. Bye bye.